F-16s, F-14s, F-18s, A-10s, and myself, I'm an airline captain for American Airlines. But I want you to know I'm the best fighter pilot that ever could have been. And they let me win because I'm the boss. Now, having said that, what you came here for today is to experience some key portions of the flight that hopefully some of you will get a chance to fly up into space. And our airplanes are CI Marchettis. They're Italian light attack fighter aircraft. They're used all over the world. They're capable of dropping bombs, shooting rockets, and firing machine guns. Wow, as a matter of fact, we use them to train a couple of the Air Force and the Navy for the United States. We use these airplanes to train with. So we're kind of flattered to have an opportunity to be involved in your training as well. And so what we're going to do today is, rather than go out and do dogfighting like we normally do across the United States, we're going to take the airplanes up in 2- and 3-ship formations and take you out to an area, and then we're going to demonstrate some of the portions of the flight profile that you would experience when you fly up into space. Now, as you know, you launch this rocket plane off the runway, and you go up to, I believe, about 192,000 feet when the engine shuts down, and you're above the atmosphere, and you coast on up to about 360,000, I believe it is. That portion, when the engine is off and you're exo-atmospheric, you're floating, you're 0G. And you'll take a little parabolic arc over the top, and then you fall back down until you re-enter the atmosphere. So that portion of the flight is simulated by doing a parabolic arc in the aircraft. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to accelerate the aircraft to around 200 miles per hour, 170 knots or greater, and we'll pull the aircraft up to almost pure vertical. And then when we're up to that point, we will begin pushing over the top and we'll be floating. 0G, 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 and then you go into the dive, and then you pull out. And that completes that portion of the maneuver.
Sorry, you say 0G?
0G, awesome. You're floating.
For how long?
About 10 seconds.
Wow.
About 10 seconds. Cool. Okay? Let it pull in and stop.
Yeah. Those are the planes, right?
Those are the guns. Those are the CI Marchettis. Yeah. The airplane's fully aerobatic. We can do anything we want with it. But we need to get you into a parabolic arc so you can float.
Yeah.
Okay? And you can see what it's like to float. Okay? So, well, as I say, about 170, 180 knots, we'll pull the aircraft up into a steep climb. This is about 4 Gs right here.
Wow.
1 G is what you're experiencing right now.
Yeah.
If you sat on a scale, you'd see 170 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Okay? We pull 4, 5, 5.5 Gs sometimes, pulling to the vertical. And that's only a few seconds to get the velocity vector in the uppy. We're going up, right?
Yeah.
All right, so then we unload, and as we start pushing over the top, you'll start floating in the cockpit.
The inertia,
And you'll just be floating 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4 potato, 5 potato, 6. Up to 10 seconds, you'll be 0. Okay? Wow. Then we pull out. Now, and you may be doing this in a loose formation, is what the guys have been doing mostly today. So there'll be another airplane off your wing, and you'll see it doing it as well.
Awesome.
Okay?
Cool.
And then that covers the top portion of your space flight. When you re-enter the atmosphere, you got to slow back down. You're doing Mach 3, I believe, when you leave the atmosphere.
Wow.
You got to slow down. And so what they'll do is when they re-enter the atmosphere, they start turning and decelerating and decelerating, and then they finally glide down and land.
Are the engines shut off?
Yes.
Shut down? Oh, so you're literally gliding.
You're gliding, but you're gliding at 3,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Initially. And then, of course, the plane slows back down quickly.
Awesome.
And so to simulate the re-entry and deceleration, we go into a steep turn, descending spiral, like you see here. Mm-hmm. Okay? And instead of weighing 170 pounds, you'll weigh 4 times that much. The blood in your head is going to go to your feet. You have got to keep the blood in your head, otherwise you'll pass out. If we were flying along, minding your own business, and you were reading a book, and I pulled 4 Gs on you and you were relaxed, you would probably faint in the seat. The blood in your head would leave the optic nerve in your brain and you would probably pass out, and you just go to sleep. Okay? You have to fight that tendency of the blood going down to your feet by tightening up your stomach muscles, and some people refer to it as the hook maneuver. Essentially, imagine that I was going to come up to you and I was going to punch you in the stomach. What would you do? Wouldn't you tighten up your muscles?
Yeah.
Notice how my face kind of gets red. See that? When I'm pulling G, it doesn't get red because it's trying to go down. So I'm forcing the blood up into my brain. When they bring the G on, when we go into this steep spiral, the first thing you'll notice, if you're not fighting the G, the color picture that we're looking at becomes black and white, and it closes down into tunnel. Until finally, it's just a little bit of light, and it'll go completely out if you don't fight the G, and it's called G-lock. G-induced loss of consciousness. You pass out in the seat. Now, we don't care because we're driving, and hopefully the pilot's not asleep too. Because we wake up and say, why are we diving towards the ground? Okay, so the trick is not to gray out or black out, right?
Right.
So just keep thinking that when the guy gets ready, he says, okay, we're going to do the high G maneuver.
Okay.
As he rolls into the bank, fight it.
We have to do that.
You have to do it. If you don't, you may pass out. Okay?
For the whole duration of the G.
It's only 30 seconds or so.
Holding the wrist.
So you can do it in surges. Okay, you follow me? Tighten your stomach muscles. Okay? Now, you may think, well, that's what a G suit is for. Did you know the Blue Angels don't wear G suits? The Air Force Thunderbirds wear G suits. Okay? The Blue Angels do not. And the reason is they're flying a stick-controlled airplane, and they're flying 3 feet next to another plane with their arm resting on their thigh, which would have a G suit on it, moving their hand every time they put G's on, and the plane would move, and they'd be banging into each other.
Wow.
So they use the maneuver that I'm telling you about, the hook maneuver, to resist the G. And if you do it good, you can maintain consciousness at 7 or 8 Gs by just fighting it. Okay? To qualify an F-16, you have to be, we have a couple of guys that flew F-16s over here. They have to go to 9 Gs in a centrifuge.
Wow.
And it's all they can do. See, and they're doing. You've watched. I'm sure you've seen pictures of them in the centrifuge.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they got big necks like this, because they're always fighting the Gs. Okay. All right. Anyway, so the bottom line is we're going to do pull up and do 0 G. Down. We're going to go into a steep turn. Go into a 4 G turn. It'll take about 2.5 turns around. 30 seconds. You got to maintain consciousness. And pulling out of that, the instructor will probably say, okay, how do you feel? And you'll say, where am I? That's not good. That's not good. You want to say having a great time. Okay. And then they'll do some optional maneuvers. So they'll probably do some loops, some rolls, and you'll get a chance to fly the plane.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right.
That's what came for.
It's important that we're paying attention to your performance. Okay, so we want you to obviously stay engaged. Look where he tells you to look. When this airplane is being pulled to the vertical, there's nothing to see over the nose.
Okay.
It's blue sky. Look out the side. You'll know where you're at.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
The horizon, yeah.
Yeah. Where am I? Oh, I'm going straight up. Okay. When you do a loop, look out the side. You can see the world all the way around. When you do a roll, look straight ahead. Why? So I can see that big blue and brown thing called the Earth out in front. We know where we are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Look where the axis of rotation is. So if we're rolling, you look ahead. If we're looping, look out the side.
Yeah.
It's the least moving thing in the world, okay? I don't want anybody to get airsick, okay? Have you ever noticed anybody driving on a winding road, the driver doesn't get car sick? the passenger does because they're reading a book and they feel all these forces,
Yes.
And they're not paying attention.
right? And think where the driver's looking, down the road. Hopefully it stays in front of the car, right?
Yeah.
The paint in front of you stays in front. So look where you're going in the airplane and you'll know what's going on. Yes? Blacking out.